All right. So I'm going to explain why rage baiting is healthy, can be healthy. And I'm going to tackle it in terms first of describing a problem I've observed within modern mm, modern dating and modern socialization. Sure, yeah, I'll call it that. There's a lot of people, mainly talking about guys. I don't know much about girls' perspective on this. They're nervous. That was one of them. Still am somewhat. To just talk to people randomly. Somebody at, like, say, a gas station. Like, maybe you're across from them. Or maybe talking to someone at the grocery store, the person working checkout. Even more so, especially for us guys, if it's like a girl. Okay. There are there is a certain amount of social friction you need to endure, overcome, in order to start a conversation. And rage baiting rage baiting teaches you that. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm talking about online. I'm not talking about in real life, being crude. And I think if a lot more people were willing to risk, not risk. Yeah, probably risk. A lot more people were willing to risk social friction or looking a little weird or being a little off or not having the correct opinion for whatever that means, then dating would be better. Um, Obviously, at least the initial phase. Socializing, I mean, people will be more willing to go outside because you have to think, like, why is it that I can be in a game or I can be on the internet and everyone loves to talk, but as soon as you go outside, everybody ain't nobody saying a word. And it's because there's like masks that people want to keep up at not looking weird. Or it can also be because of any sort of potential interactions you'd run across that you just don't want to deal with, like dealing with weirdos or whatever. So I can kind of understand on a girl's perspective, but on a guy's perspective, and my maybe my willingness to want to be better at overcoming social friction stems from me wanting to be stronger. Obviously not physically, but like socially. Like, I don't think it's cool, just for me, you know, just for me. I don't think it's cool to be like the guy who's like timid or like nervous. I don't find it appealing. Like, let's say, I mean, my dad is not like this, and maybe that's where part of it I get it from. Is like my dad, like wanting to be more like him. He doesn't come off this way. He doesn't come off as like someone who's timid. Like he's a big guy. He's like tall. He's taller than me. He's like 6'5" or whatever. Um, he's got big arms and everything. So like whenever he walks into a room, it's like he commands the space. And obviously, it's not anything he's necessarily doing at the time. It's just kind of his figure. But then it translates over into like people wanting to talk to him. And then he's able to exude the same, for lack of a better term, aura whenever talking to people. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy really knows what he's talking about, you know? He's strong, he's capable, he's willing, he's able. And I think that's like something that's a virtue worth, not a virtue. That is an element I would like to have in myself, and I think a lot of guys want to have that within themselves. I think a lot of guys want to be that guy. I mean, who doesn't want to be that guy, you know? So the reason why rage baiting online would supposedly help is once you're able to withstand social friction online, it's easier to navigate social friction, at least the small amount there is, because it's not really that much in real life, but lets you start conversations just with people in real life because it's like, okay, well, I'm a guy, I'm a man. Surely I can just deal with talking to some random person. Like, why should we be afraid or nervous or shy just to talk to people? Like, okay, yeah, I talk to a girl and she puts me on her story. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like that, nobody cares. Or I talk to somebody. Um, I talk to like a Walmart cashier, and then maybe he just gives me a look, and he's like, "What's this guy? Why is this guy talking to me?" Like, who cares? Because that's like the worst it could get, right? Like maybe you could put yourself in a situation where you're talking to somebody and it's like, oh, I got like a 1% chance of just I'm not even gonna say 1% chance. I'm gonna say like 20 or 30% chance I'm gonna encounter a weirdo, or I'm gonna get like some girl's gonna scream at me or something. Like it it sounds bad. And I mean, it is kind of bad, but at the same time, literally the next day you're gonna forget it. So like, who really cares? Like, nobody cares. It's gonna be like, oh, that was interesting, and then you're gonna move on with your life. Everyone's gonna move on with their life. Like, I still got work tomorrow, so it's like, well, just another day. So I don't think it's really that big of a deal. And then on the top end of what it like could be, you could run across some just like really cool and interesting people. So like you could just have like a good conversation with somebody. And I'm not doing it enough justice. But like if you just go out and you just like do it yourself, and you're just like talking to some other guy, you're like, oh hey man, you know what's going on? Especially when you talk to guys. A lot of guys are just really nice. Like, you start a conversation with a guy, immediately like both of us light up, and it's like, oh yeah, just the boys talking. And that's a great feeling. That is a great feeling. Heck, it's even I'm not gonna say better. It's also a good feeling whenever you walk up to a girl And then she also lights up. They're like, oh yeah, a nice guy. He's talkative. He's confident enough to just walk up because, well, that's a whole nother can of worms of um, dating stuff. But yeah, I think the payoff is worth it. I think, and yeah, I think it's just good to want to be that guy. I think it's good to be that guy. I think it's a noble pursuit, and it helps you touch grass. Yes.